Listen to me. If there was a wise man who would ever think of this, they would say in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. For I am the man himself.
Hello all, and what is going on, and how are y'all doing this Thursday evening? This is the Club of the Man 1993, and we are here live. No, wait, we're not here live. What am I thinking? I'm still all over the place. Washed up, still kind of in recovery mode, even though today was my first day back at work since I got hitched. Yes, for those who didn't know, I got married this past Saturday, and I was very, very behind on content. And with how busy I was again last week, I decided to cancel my Raw, AEW, and SmackDown reviews from last week's episodes, solely because of how busy I was last week with my wedding and whatnot. But now the wedding is past, even though a lot more things happen, I'm catching up right now. So hopefully, again, this is the start of me getting some things rolling on my channel again. Now, before I start this review, I do want to mention I am actually recording this before I do my Money in the Bank review. I will be doing that live. I will not upload this video until I do that review. Only because I don't have the stream set up yet, but I'm trying to at least get something done before my wife gets home from work. So I'm going to record this now, but I won't upload it till after I do my Money in the Bank review. But also, I want to mention that I did start recording the next parts of my video game Let's Plays. So hopefully those will be coming back soon as well. Again, things are going to settle down a little bit. I mean, yes, I have some house projects I'm working on with the new house, but things will hopefully start to settle down now that the wedding, which I wish never ended because it was one of the best. It was the best day of my life. It's in the rearview mirror. But, yeah, Monday Night Raw, the Fallout show from Money in the Bank. And we're on the road now to the second biggest WWE event of the year. Of course, gotta say it now because we have Wembley Stadium coming up next month for AEW's All In. Of course, WWE is teasing now the possibility of doing a WrestleMania in London now because they can't have AEW updo them. But, anyways, we're on the road to SummerSlam. And I'll be honest, this is a very hard episode of Raw to grade. It is very, very inconsistent episode. Because there was things I liked, things I didn't like, and I don't know. Again, like as I'll probably talk about in my Money in the Bank review. Money in the Bank was a good show. But I feel like because they did not capitalize on some key things, it did kind of hurt the show a little bit. As great of a show as it was, I'm probably giving it a little bit lower of a grade maybe than I could, but we'll see. But I can continue to say this. Thank God they did not put the briefcase on Logan Paul. Although I wonder if it's because Vince and Triple H couldn't come to an agreement on who they wanted, because I'm sure they each wanted one other person, so they went with probably a happy medium, but who the hell knows. But, yeah, this Raw was inconsistent. There was stuff that was good, such as a Fallout promo from Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey's random tag team breakup, which I apparently have heard some rumors as to why they're all of a sudden rushing this. Even though, again, they just got the titles, which kind of hurt it a little bit maybe from Ronda's injury. But now, from the news I'm hearing, it kind of makes sense now. And a few other things, but again, we'll talk about it. Like I said, we had a good... One thing that a lot of people are talking about from this episode is for the first time in a while, they did give the women a lot more TV time. We had a women's world title match. We had a tag team turmoil match, even though it really didn't benefit anybody. And we also got stuff with Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus. So, gave the women some more time, which is one thing we've seen less and less of since Vince McMahon's gotten his grubby hands on the script since he came back. But we'll talk about it, because there was some stuff that I was like, okay, some stuff I'm just like, nah. Oh yeah, also, Maxxine Dupri was on the show also, so even though she was involved in the mixed tag match, that still involves that they're getting a lot of women involved on this show, which was a plus. But of course, because of how much of a joke you've treated them, the stuff he did on this show just kind of made it seem like that. It's just something that I like to always say, it exposes the business. Exposes it because, once again, it just shows like, okay, they can be good one week, but then they're a jobber the next. The inconsistencies, it just kind of drives me a little nuts. But let's get into this review, because I am hoping to do the Money in the Bank review later on, and this will be uploaded again after the Money in the Bank review. But let's roll and talk about it. The show took place in Baltimore, Maryland this past Monday, July 3rd, 2023. The show opened up with the World Heavyweight Champion, Seth freaking Rollins. And he does his usual shtick, soaking in the crowd, putting over the winners at Money in the Bank, and how he, of course, beat Finn Balor as well. And basically, he's saying how Summerslam was on his mind. And then Cody Rhodes' music hits. And he came out and just went, so... And then Brock Lesnar interrupts him as he returns for the first time since Night of Champions. And they have a nice little brawl. Cody hits a nice Cody cutter on Brock. But I'm also thinking, why is Cody teasing a shot at Seth's title? Because, again, the whole story here with Cody Rhodes is the fact that he wants to win the title his father never won. And that title that his father could have gotten is Roman's title, not Seth's title. And I hate to keep saying this, and bless Seth Rollins' heart. He is trying his damnedest to make this World Heavyweight Championship mean something. The matches he's had with Damian Priest, with AJ Styles. I never got to check out the match with him and Braun Breaker, but I'd like to check it out if I can. And a few things. He is doing his best to make this spell prestige. The problem is, when you're doing stuff like having Cody Rhodes going after the other world title, because it's another option, or having AJ Styles mentioning that basically this is like a consolation prize. Basically, you've exposed how many times, making it known this second world title is supposed to be what exactly it is. A second world title. It's like a consolation prize. And that's not a good mojo it's rubbing off on. And again, this tease of Cody versus Seth for the World Heavyweight Championship, I didn't like. Because again, it's just like, why is Cody's going for Seth? Because again, he's the only world champion on this roster. But to me, that's like him settling to finish the story a different way when the actual story is on SmackDown and should be finished there. I still think it wasn't a good idea to not do Cody and Roman at SummerSlam. SummerSlam should be the time where Cody dethrones Roman. And again, nobody else at this point. Even though, once again, there's a problem. I want to bring this up. Where Cody was not the only person who came this close to pinning Roman and dethroning him. There have been others as well. So that's a little bit of some awkward storytelling there, but it could play out in the long run. Like, again, Drew McIntyre is back. He can eventually turn heel and go after either Seth or eventually Cody if he ever does dethrone Roman, which I guess at this point is going to be a WrestleMania. I don't know how the hell they're going to get there. Especially if Roman Reigns could be working less days after SummerSlam, yet he's still going to be the world champion, which is not a good look in my opinion. But yeah, I thought that was awkward. And of course, Seth just stayed out there. And then afterwards, we have a commercial break, which is also awkward. Afterwards, the Judgment Day came out, minus Finn Balor. And then, of course, Rhea starts talking, and then Seth points out that they don't have their whole group together and says, "Where's Finn?" And Rhea says, "He's fine, but he's not here." And then Damian Priest, which, of course, he probably wasn't there because they've been teasing some tension with Finn Balor and Damian Priest, he mentions, of course, hyping up that he can cash in anytime, any place. Basically, the typical stuff. And, of course, Dominik Mysterio cannot talk over the crowd, but basically said, basically it just sets up for a main event match with Seth Rollins versus Dominik Mysterio, who was labeled, and I checked the app. Let me check it again right now to see when they're going to actually change it. But yeah, Dominik Mysterio got a name change. And I'm hoping this is just a one-time thing, but okay, he's still just Dominik Mysterio. But Dominik Mysterio was labeled on the graphics as Dirty Dominik Mysterio. Why? That right there just sounds like a Vince McMahon call. Like, again, it's one of those things where it's like Triple H created this star in Dominik Mysterio. But now that Vince is back, he's got to put his hands on it somehow. So he has to, like, cover it up by adding in dirty in his name. When, like, what? Like, what's dirty about him? I mean, yes, he's a heel. He's a scrappy heel who hides behind Rhea Ripley's back. He is basically mommy's little boy, as Cody Rhodes said, leading up to their match for Money in the Bank. And then he lost the Money in the Bank with, like no big deal, no drama or anything really to it. Just kind of a little bit of like a cool-down match, I thought it was, as I mentioned in my Money in the Bank review. But yeah, so Dirty Dominik Mysterio is officially a thing right now. Why? Probably because Vince again just wanted to get his hands on it. Damian Priest then beat Shinsuke Nakamura. I like seeing that they're giving Mr. Money in the Bank a victory. Because, let's be honest, most Money in the Bank holders tend to lose a lot. And I'm okay with giving Damian Priest that win. Like I'll be saying in my Money in the Bank review also. I think since they went with Damian Priest, I feel like he has to be a longer term Mr. Money in the Bank. Because I still feel like he's got some momentum. He's not like dead in the water, like why the fuck did we do this with Damian Priest? He's not like buried or dead in the water. I just don't think he has quite enough momentum yet for me to seriously see him as a world champion. So I feel like give him time to build. This briefcase could be a thing that could cause the rift and the breakup with Judgment Day, which I think is why I'm intrigued by this, because I am dying to see them split up Judgment Day. Because again, the reason why they're still together, it just makes no sense. Because again, the whole point of Edge feuding with them was for him to end what he started. And he won the feud, but they're still together. Like, what sense does that make? So... But also what sucks too is that Shinsuke Nakamura is still constantly losing. I don't think there's really a prayer to ever get him back to where he was in NXT in 2016 and 2017. And that's unfortunate. But we got that. Then we got this promo with Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler. This, in my opinion, was probably one of Shayna's best promos. So first, Ronda came out and she's like, "Why, Shayna, why?" Out comes Shayna, who barely allowed Ronda to speak. And Shayna basically puts Ronda in her place. She says, "I speak for everybody when I say nobody wants to hear you talk." which has been kind of true. Ronda's promos have been very... Again, Ronda's run this time around the past year and a half has not been good. I'm sorry, it really has not. The only really good match Ronda had, in my opinion, was the I Quit match at WrestleMania Backlash 2022. That was her best match this run back. But, anyways, she mentions how no one wants to hear her talk, and then Shayna calls Ronda a narcissist, and she's the only reason Ronda is even standing in WWE right now. And the only thing she owes anybody is an apology for bringing Ronda in. And then Ronda's like, well, why not say something before costing us the tag titles they work for? Which, again, they literally, again, they dropped all their plans, because originally, I think Ronda was supposed to be SmackDown Women's Champion going into WrestleMania, and originally, she was going to face Rhea Ripley, and Rhea would have beaten her for the title. And they were supposed to do Bianca and Charlotte, which they're about to do now. But the plans changed because Ronda Rousey gets whatever she wants. And Ronda wanted to be Women's Tag Team Champion with Shayna. But, of course, that kind of got halted because Ronda got hurt. But anyways, Shayna says she didn't see Ronda help build rings and shows with 30 people. She didn't see her at her trial because Ronda just got to waltz right in and go straight to WrestleMania, while Shayna had to start from scratch, from the bottom up. She owes Ronda the sobering reality that there's someone here who can finally shut her up. And then Ronda kicks her off the apron and they brawl. And then Shayna, of course, did an ankle lock on her. And then she did some blasted at the side of Ronda's head. And it looked like it was a nasty kick. And basically, it's setting up probably for a match at SummerSlam. And again, this was very abrupt. Very, out of nowhere. But apparently, the rumors is Ronda's about to be done. And that bums me out a little bit because I really wanted to see her and Becky go one-on-one. I still don't get why they didn't do it last year when Ronda first came back. Because my thing was, okay, Ronda first comes back. She wins the Rumble. Who was her biggest rival of the two? Charlotte or Becky? Becky was. And yes, at the time, Becky was a heel. Yes, I get that. But I feel like they should have done it then. I mean, yes, we had one of the best WrestleMania matches for the women with Becky and Bianca. I'm not going to take that away. But it would have made a lot more sense just to do it there. Do it then, I'm sorry. Or even this past year's WrestleMania. It just sucks that we're probably not going to get that now. But I'm sorry. I'll take her first year when she was in WWE. But again, this past year and a half, hasn't been good for Ronda. I'm sorry. Again, I don't know that her heart's just not in it anymore. I don't know if she's just a lot more distracted as a mother or what it is. It just hasn't been a strong run. I mean, I appreciate Ronda for, coming back and giving it a shot again. But again, it just hasn't been that great. So, if this is her way of going out by putting over Shayna, I'll take it. And, of course, my question for Money in the Bank was, who the heck's the babyface? Oh, it's Shayna. When you put Ronda Rousey in her place like Shayna Baszler did, you're a babyface. And I'm hoping this does get momentum to get Shayna back on track. Because, God, do I think if they would get Shayna Baszler back on track, that's another big name that would do wonders for the women's division. So I love that. And then we had a backstage with the Alpha Academy. Maxxine Dupri is getting ready to make her in-ring debut with a mixed tag match with the Alpha Academy and the Viking Raiders, which happened later on in the show. And Alpha Academy won. Maxxine Dupri got some offense. She looked decent. I'll give her that. My thing is, though, is that why does every valet have to get taken and made to a wrestler? I feel like like, I feel like when Triple H was in charge, he wasn't pushing someone like a Maxxine Dupri or like even like a Scarlett Bordeaux to wrestle. Vince, though, as long as you're here, you're gonna wrestle. Of course, he probably wants, because they're blondes, he probably wants them to wrestle so they can follow his blonde hair, blue eyes, obsession. While guys like LA Knight, who apparently is too old, yet Damian Priest, who again, I love Damian Priest, who's just a couple months older than LA Knight, can get the briefcase. But LA Knight was going to be reduced to being a manager as Max Dupri because apparently he's too old. That's bullshit. That's absolute bullshit. But yeah, again, this thing with Otis, Gable, and Maxxine is, it has potential. But again, it also has that, like, sour taste of, like, okay, they're giving this spot because Vince wants to make Maxxine Dupri another blonde bombshell, basically. That's what it is. So, I don't know. I'm interested, but I also just see this as, this is another Vince thing. But, we'll see. I basically went through that. Oh, yeah. Then we had a women's number one contenders tag team turmoil. And what I liked about this tag team turmoil, first off, it was for the number one contendership for the women's tag titles, and they used all Raw superstars. They didn't insult the brand split this week. But it was Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell who had her first match on Raw as she was injured when she was NXT Women's Champion. Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville, Chelsea Green, as I said when they announced her. Dana Brooke and Tegan Nox, Emma and Nikki Cross, and Katana Chance and Kaden Carter. First off, I'm still not the biggest fan of all the teams being out there and then they just enter in once their music starts playing. I still don't like that. I'd rather prefer it the old way where all the teams are backstage and then they come out one by one, basically. They gave this about 20 minutes. It was decent. Again, it's just, once again, you gave a lot of women who haven't been on TV in a while, like Candice LeRae, Tegan Nox, Emma, Nikki Cross, Dana Brooke as well. Well, she's been on NXT lately. I've heard she's been some mixed appearance on NXT. Why didn't they make her a free agent? But they had this tag team turmoil. And like I said, the fact again that just all these women just like lack any direction is what hurt this. Like if that this could be good because all these women are great wrestlers. But of course they're booked like jokes. And but then this all happens. And it's not taken, it's affected by that. But Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville first and eliminate Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. And then next was a random team of Nikki Cross and Emma. Now, before they came out, there was like a backstage segment from earlier showing how Nikki wanted a team with Candice, as they'd been teasing. I guess I should do a turn alert from Nikki, but maybe I'll wait for a second and see where if this story goes anywhere. Even though it's been like it exists and it doesn't exist, exists and it doesn't exist, back and forth thing here. But basically she wanted a team with Candice, but Candice said she's already teamed with Indy. So then Emma rolls up and says, we'll be partners. And of course, whenever Emma and Nikki came out, Nikki slides out and is just tending to Candice LeRae. But then once Candice leaves, Nikki stays there and was like just like all upset and like just like wasn't even focused on the match. She was like possessed, or what not. 1 second, let me just answer this one quick text. Answer that. Okay. Anyways, so Emma basically had to fight Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville 2-on-1. They did give Emma some decent offense. I did like, because since Emma's come back, most of her matches she's not looked that strong. I thought in this like 2-on-1 match, she did kind of look like she had a little more to her than we originally thought, which I like that, but of course, she got eliminated as well. Then we have Dana Brooke and Tegan Nox basically get in right before the commercial break. And during the commercial break, they got eliminated. That's right, Tegan Nox and Dana Brooke got eliminated during a commercial break. That's what Vince McMahon thinks of both of them, which sucks, because, I mean, especially Tegan Nox. I even said this when Tegan returned. If Triple H was around, Tegan Nox would have been pushed as like an underdog become champion. She could have been somebody I could be seeing win next year's Women's Rumble, but Vince is around. She's back to being a nobody again. Oh yeah, it's past July 1st, and there was no releases yet. If they do releases when the sale closes, I'm pretty sure Tegan Nox will be somebody else that they release. It's unfortunate because I do like Tegan, but you know. So that happened there. Then they had the last one was Kaden Carter and Katana Chance. They had a decent exchange, but then Chelsea and Sonya eliminated them, and Chelsea and Sonya win the gauntlet, and they become number one contenders once again for the women's tag titles. Look, again, I'll keep saying this. Who gives a shit about those women's tag titles? There's no build. But because I'm still a fan of Chelsea Greens, at this point, just put the titles on them. Please just give Chelsea a title in some ways. I'm not a fan of having her and Sonya. I get that Sonya is replacing Carmella with her being out due to pregnancy. But I just feel like the character that Sonya Deville has basically become the female Baron Corbin. You know she can be good, but they basically book her the same way as Corbin is, who just whines and says, "You're being a big old meanie, not giving me everything I want," and she has no reason why she should be getting what she wants. Like 2 weeks ago, when I saw Chelsea Green do that like TikTok reel, like the Karen reel, or how they called it, it was so entertaining. And then when I saw that, I'm just like, I miss that Chelsea Green. Chelsea with Sonya, it feels like it's just being dragged down. But if you're going to do this again for the upteenth time, Sonya and Chelsea versus Raquel and Liv for the women's tag titles, just put the damn titles on Chelsea and Sonya. More so for Chelsea's sake. Just do it. Please just do it. And then more women's stuff happening because Becky Lynch came out. Well, first we had a Bronson Reed hype reel. Okay. Then we have Becky Lynch calling out Trish Stratus. Trish comes out with Zoey Stark. And apparently at some point in the Money in the Bank ladder match, Becky broke Trish's nose. When it happened, I don't know. And then, of course, as I keep saying, the matches between these two, well, we had the one-on-one at Night of Champions. They were all in Money in the Bank, which I still wish Zoey would have won. Io won, not going to lose sleep over it. But, again, these promos are just horrible. Horrible promos between these two. And again, I think Trish is just super micromanaged as a heel. And I think that's what's hurting her. But Trish is upset and says she's not cleared to compete and nobody's better than her. Not even her protege, Zoey Stark. And then Becky says Zoey has to be tested sooner or later and Trish will eventually leave. Then what? Why is she still here if she doesn't want to fight Becky Lynch? And when Becky said that, I was kind of like, you got a point. Trish, if you're not here to fight, and you're doing nothing to try to prove that you're the best, why are you still here? Like, when she said that, I'm like, she's got a point. Like, that kind of was a little bit like another exposure moment. But they continued to bicker, and then Becky wanted to fight Zoey, but then Trish was like, no, I have a medical appointment, and yeah, we're going to have this match next week. So we're going to get Becky Lynch and Zoey Stark next week on Raw, which is, again, building for Becky and Trish's blow-off match at SummerSlam. Which, again, I think at the SummerSlam, just end this. Again, I keep saying, I get the premise. The promos have just been horrible. Absolutely horrible. And I think it's more so because they're micromanaging the hell out of heel Trish Stratus. And once again, she has no reason to be here. So if she's just going to talk and not try to prove that she's better than Becky, why is she still here? That was a big exposure moment. Then Cody Rhodes randomly came back out. And I'm not sure if this is just because they were trying to give the new girl who's a new announcer some mic time. But Cody Rhodes, who like an hour and a half earlier, came out in his wrestling gear to brawl with Brock Lesnar, now comes out in a suit and basically says, welcome back, Brock. We're not done yet. We'll fight you anytime, any place. And that's all he said. So that was pointless. Already talked about the mixed tag match. Oh, yeah. Then we have this interview with Ricochet. It says a lot of people said Logan Paul didn't deserve to be in the ladder match. Thank you. He did not. But the kid can hang, and he respects that. But he doesn't respect Logan Paul getting in his face after what it simply wasn't his night. So he issues Logan Paul a face-to-face confrontation in the ring next week. I guess they're going to be maybe doing... And I mentioned this a few weeks ago when I ranted about Logan Paul being in the Money in the Bank ladder match. I'm not opposed to a SummerSlam match with Ricochet and Logan Paul. But as I probably mentioned in my Money in the Bank review, based off of the crowd reactions and the promos, I honestly think the match to do at SummerSlam is Logan Paul and LA Knight. Now, if they did Logan Paul and Ricochet, I'll be okay with Logan winning that. But if it's Logan Paul and LA Knight, I want LA Knight winning that. But I guess we're going to be doing Ricochet and Logan Paul. So we'll see how that goes. It could be good. Again, at least he's not Mr. Money in the Bank. I'll take this over him being Mr. Money in the Bank. Oh yeah, and then we actually had a competitive match with Rhea Ripley and Natalya. They had their third match. Yes, Natty won again, but it was a strong, competitive match where Natalya first tried basically playing Rhea's game and beating down Rhea in her entrance. And they had a really great match. But of course the problem is, once again, you booked Natty like a joke for so many weeks that it makes this match that was actually really good not look as good because, okay, she could be jobbing, but then all of a sudden, 1 week, she can all of a sudden handle her in the ring for like a good, 15, 20 minutes? Inconsistencies again. You appreciate the continuity when it's there. And when it's not there, it drives you bananas. So we have that. We have promos from Tommaso Ciampa and The Miz hyping up for a no DQ match next week. All right. When are we going to get to DIY reuniting? I want to see DIY and Sammy and KO at SummerSlam. Get that moving. Speed it up. Chop, chop. Matt Riddle has an entrant. First, Matt Riddle gets ready for a match with Giovanni Vinci. He basically squashed Giovanni. Imperium's losing left and right on Raw. Just for them to beat down Matt Riddle afterwards. And Drew McIntyre comes out just to again tease Drew McIntyre versus Gunther at SummerSlam. And I guess Drew McIntyre and Gunther are going to have a tag match next week against Imperium. Lovely. They continue to lose. And then Rhea Ripley also runs into Io Sky backstage. Oh, yeah, that's right. She's a SmackDown star on Raw. And Sky says something in Japanese, but Rhea basically said, don't you even think about it. About cashing in on me. And then, after that, we then have the main event. Seth Rollins and Dirty Dominik Mysterio. Match ends in a DQ because Damian Priest was teasing a cash in and he tries to, get in there. But then Finn Balor came out and then I guess Finn pushed Seth into Damian. And even though they both beat the hell out of Seth Rollins, Damian Priest still didn't cash in. Because he spent most of the time arguing with Finn Balor. Because they basically cost each other their moments. Even though Damian Priest had his moment right there whenever Seth was down. Like, he still had time to cash in. But I guess still this briefcase is going to somehow be used as, like, leverage or some way or form be used to continue the story to tease the Finn Balor and Damian Priest breakup from the Judgment Day. So, it has some benefits to it, but the stuff, just like the promo stuff around it are still crap. It's still just crap. But I'm guessing also, this doesn't mean that it's over with Seth Rollins and Finn Balor. I'm wondering if we're going to get another match between the two at SummerSlam. But this time it's the Demon Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins. Because their match at Money in the Bank, I still feel like it could have been better. But I'm wondering if it was more of like a setup for more things to come. So I'm going to say that they might do a rematch at SummerSlam. We'll have to wait and see though. But that's my review of Raw, guys. I'm giving it a C. Again, there was some stuff I liked, but the stuff that I liked, I didn't like it that much. And there were some, like, inconsistencies, which also affect it. So I gave Raw a C. What are your guys' thoughts on this week's episode of Raw? Make sure you guys leave thoughts down in the comments section below as well. And be sure, as always, to slap a like on the video and subscribe for more content on my channel. And follow me on Twitter at TheClubOfTheMan93. Also follow me on TikTok and Instagram at TheClubOfTheMan1993. And until then, guys, I'm checking out. I'll catch you all later. Probably won't get to the AEW review tonight, but I'm planning on trying to get the Money in the Bank review done with tonight. So until then, guys, I'm checking out. I'll catch you guys all later. Have a great rest of your night. Oh, sorry, that's not my theme anymore. I keep forgetting that. Do not forget, guys, in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. And for I am the man himself.